Hello friends and welcome. In today's video, I'd like to present Kitchen Pantry organization. It's going to be a pretty extreme transformation. I'm going to be putting my disaster pantry in order and I'm going to be doing it as always on a budget. I'll be finding a way to cover my wire shelving on a budget. I'll take everything out, we'll be organizing it, getting some dollar store containers, making some DIY organizers, labeling everything, putting it back in such a way that is functional in real life, and basically just everything from start to finish. And I'll be starting with the scariest part, which is showing you my pantry. So I've lived in this house for about 3 years now, and I organized this pantry once, sometime last year. Some of the things that I did worked, I know it doesn't look like that right now, and some of the things didn't. And for those, we will be finding new solutions. For example, this time I actually went shopping before organizing this pantry and made sure that I wasn't out of anything so that I can stack this pantry and hopefully still have some miscellaneous space left, so that because there's always things coming in. That's my favorite way of organizing just about anything, is to always at the end leave some miscellaneous empty space for new things to come into the house, because they always do. So that's one of the things I didn't do when I organized my pantry last time, and I'll be mentioning more throughout this video. As of right now, I'm just gonna empty the whole pantry, and I brought this table from the garage specifically for that reason. I also have to keep in mind that I'm gonna have to leave a working space for my organization, so I'm gonna have to leave one of the kitchen countertops empty for that. And the rest of the kitchen countertops I already know is going to be stuffed with just stuff from the pantry. Also, I have to be very mindful of where I put some of the things in the pantry, because they have to be kept out of reach of kids, and I have 2 tiny ones. So my name is Jenia and I come from Russia, and I have been married to my American husband for about 3 years now. We have 2 babies, well, babies. I have a 2.5-year-old girl, Anya, and my son is 1 year old. Well, he's technically going to be 1 year old this week. I'm just not quite ready for that, that's all. Either way, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I love making real-life cleaning and organizing videos, as well as an occasional makeover. And if you enjoy that kind of content, I really hope that you consider subscribing to this new channel of mine. So right here I'm trying to see if this way of covering my wire shelving is going to work and if it fits. So apparently it is, so I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna do it. So I went to Home Depot and got this huge weathered panel 4x8 feet for $17. You have to buy the whole thing, by the way. My pantry is not that small, and it's going to cover more than half of my shelves. So of course I measured my shelves and they cut it for me. That's just what they do. You just tell them how. And I decided to cut it in such a way so that I could fit it into my regular car. And when it comes to carrying them, those panels are pretty light, so I had no problem carrying them by myself. So I'm gonna take the rest out of the pantry, and I'm gonna show you how I decided to put those covers on my wire shelving. You see this door organizer with bags in it? Those bags don't belong in here, but from now on they will, because I found that this is, I guess, the perfect solution in our case. I tried organizers for plastic bags. They just don't work. We're always in a rush. And what a better place to just stick your bags into the nearest shelf available than this shelf. I figured that would work. Anyway, if you're wondering why would I want to cover the wired shelving in the first place, is because things fall through, things like wires from my toasters and my machines, and small things, and some organizers just are not meant to stand on wired shelving. Some people also do it for the looks, and some people for practical reasons. In my case, it's for practical reasons. Some people also buy covers specifically designed for wired shelving, but in my case that would cost me a fortune. And there is another option, is to buy a panel that's twice as expensive as mine, but it already has a nice design on it. There's quite a few options of those actually, and I decided to go with the cheaper version because I just couldn't help it. Plus you can't see what color the shelves are with all the stuff on them anyway. At some point I also wanted to try and paint my panels, but decided that that was going to take me way too much time and too much paint, so I decided not to. You see that one I practiced on? I'm just gonna turn it upside down. You see they're not laying exactly flat as they're supposed to lay flat, but that's not really that much of a big deal. That's only because I didn't take into consideration those little things sticking out of the wall. So I cut it, I guess, way too wide, but I'm gonna make it work anyway. I'm just gonna lift the panels up towards the wall, so it's not gonna affect the whole project overall. Another option would be to take it back and ask them to cut an inch off, but I decided that this was good enough for me. So that one huge panel covered these 3 shelves exactly. The top shelf I'm not gonna bother because I wanna look up and see what's on that shelf, and these 3 shelves I'm not gonna bother either because it's just not worth it. It's for my towels. Now is it's time to start putting things back into the pantry. I'm gonna start with the things that are the hardest for me, which would be my machines that take the most space, and the canned food, which also takes the most space and is the hardest for me. So I'm gonna get them out of the way first. As I don't use the machines on a daily basis, I'm gonna stack them farther away from the pantry door. Okay, so I've never used this mini crock pot thing, and I don't even know what it's for, but it's just so cute that I should probably donate it, but I never will. So when it comes to pretty containers, I'm not going to be buying any because I'm organizing everything on a budget today. And my new policy is, when it comes to containers and organizers, is to not buy them until I need them and until I know what kind I need. I love going to the dollar store and of course spending the money that I shouldn't, and bringing home the stuff that I don't have space for. Therefore, that's the policy, is to buy my containers when I need them and when I know how many and what kind. I'm also going to utilize any kind of containers that I already have on hand, like these beautiful formula containers. I had a bunch of these. I also have vanilla ice cream buckets that are just perfect for my rice. Iced tea bottles I will probably use in the future, just not today. There's a lot of containers that we throw away every day and we don't even realize it. Now it's time to make a couple of organizers for my cans. I figured the best type would be the Spinning Susan, if that's what you call it. It's gonna cost you $4 each if you shop at the dollar store, and that's my favorite type. So you just need a couple of small plates that fit one into the other, one big one to go on top, and a pack of marbles. That's for one container. It's gonna cost you $4, like I said. Put your arms around me, put your faith in me, put your love on me. What you need from me, need your love on me, put your love on me. I'ma do everything for you. I don't want anyone but you. Put your arms around me, put your faith in me, put your love on me. Can we stop the clock and rewind? Go back to that moment in time when you say you want me for life. Was it all a lie?
give my all to deserve ya. Begging on my knees just to show ya. You're the one I want and I love ya. No, 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 no lie. I miss your touch from your hands and your body. It hurts so much to think of you as someone else.
So when it comes to can organizing, it's the most trouble for me because I just never seem to find a way that works, but I think I came up with something this time. So I decided to separate them all into categories to see what I have first of all. Do I have more of the same cans that I use all the time, or do I have 1,000 of miscellaneous cans? Turned out I had both, so I decided to put the miscellaneous ones on the spinning trays because it's just easier to see, obviously. And the same kind, I decided to stack one on top of the other and just place them wherever. That way you can see everything that you have all at once and how much. I got this can organizer from Walmart for about $13, but I wouldn't recommend it for miscellaneous cans because you can't really see what's behind the front one. It's not very practical when it comes to saving space either. I might save more space by stocking the cans on top of each other. So I will end up using it for storing my husband's drinks. When it comes to placing items into new containers, I didn't do that for every single item because for some of them it just doesn't make sense. If I don't like the original packaging and it's hard to get to the item, I am going to place it into a new container. If it's something that we eat on a regular basis and a lot of, I probably don't have to worry about putting the expiration date on the container because I know that we will eat it by the time it expires. On the other hand, with the things that I know we might not finish by the time that they expire, I might as well put the expiration date on the container with some permanent marker and then take it off if I need to with some nail polish remover. In my case, I decided to just come up with solutions that require least time consumption on my part. So some things I like to use a lot of, but different kinds. So I have different types of pasta, a little bit of each. And what do you do in this situation? I went to the dollar store and I got some large bins as well as some larger containers for other items. So my solution was for small items that I have a lot of different kinds of to put them all into a large bin and name it whatever they are. So for example, with my pasta, I'm not going to place it all in different containers. I'm just going to put all of them into a large bin, as well as my dry beans and some snacks that we're trying out, just all of them into one large container. I found it to be such a great solution for everything because it's just time saving. Whenever you need something and you're not sure what or something, you just grab the large container, take it out on your kitchen countertop and look through it and then put the whole container back in. So all of the small items I use a lot of different kinds of, like my snacks, nuts and seeds and so on. I'm gonna put them into a large container from the dollar store, label them accordingly, and it's gonna cost me very little time and money. So I think in a perfect world, it's always better to just look through the pantry and update it every about 4 to 6 months or so. I guess it's different for every family. And update everything that needs to be updated, rename some of the containers and maybe create some for the new items that you now like buying. So in my opinion, even if the system works just perfect, it still needs updating every once in a while. I'm sorry if you were expecting a Pinterest looking like pantry, but this pantry look works just great for me. Just wait till the after pictures and I think you're gonna be very pleased. As you can see, the first thing I always worry about when it comes to organization is functionality and how much time it's gonna take me to maintain the system, and then I worry about the looks afterwards. So back to throwing containers away on a daily basis without even realizing it. So I think a good idea would be to pick some food that is consumed on a daily basis with a pleasant looking container and start saving those containers instead of throwing them away. That way they will match in the pantry, and I think I'm gonna start doing that with my iced tea containers as well as my pasta sauce cans.
Started out just like a lovely story.
This is everything that's left for me to organize before we start making labels for the stuff. And this is where also normally I am left with a bunch of miscellaneous stuff, and I'm gonna create a bin and call it just that, miscellaneous. I think that's gonna make life much easier.
Upside down. Oh. You and me cheated for a long time. You had me fooled and there were no signs. And you stole my time, and I lived my life with you. Should have known that you'd never make it through.
So I like using this simple organizer whenever I need to go vertical and save space. So I just get 2 of those risers from the dollar store and I secure them together with zip ties. It can be a rubber band or whatever to tie them together, so that way you can place stuff on top and under it.
Came to be a little fuzzy, honey. I didn't know what you wanted from me. Rather heard it from the beginning that you didn't know what you were feeling. Never ever really crossed my mind that you were just hanging around. Never ever really crossed my mind that this would end up upside down.
So right now I'm gonna start writing down what I need to create labels for, and at the same time, at this point it feels like the pantry is almost finished, but at the very last minute you start reorganizing stuff and just changing the stuff, the shelves, and just rearranging everything basically. And I am not going to start making labels until I'm actually satisfied with the way everything is placed in the pantry, until the very, very last look.
Stole my time and I lived my life with you. Should have known that you.
I'm gonna use my Cricut machine that my mother-in-law gave me to make my labels today. I ordered some more wooden labels from Amazon, so you're gonna see it in a minute. I'm just gonna create the wording for them with Cricut machine. But before I had Cricut, I used to just write on them with chalk.
So stole my heart. So stole my heart. So stole my heart. So stole my heart. It was all a robbery. It was all a robbery. It was all a robbery. Robbery, robbery, robbery. It was all a robbery. It was all a robbery. It was all a robbery. Robbery, robbery, robbery. Everybody's been saying that you're up to no good. Everyone has been telling me that you got me hooked. You're playing it big time. You're feeding me lies.
These are the wooden labels I got from Amazon for a decent price. I think I got about 24 of them, but I'm gonna run out of them because I'm gonna label pretty much everything in my pantry this time. You can also write on them with chalk, which is what I used to do before I had Cricut machine. I will leave the link for them in the description in case you're interested. And this wooden sign I got from Walmart, I think for about $3. I think it's so pretty, and I could have made my writing more cursive, but they charge you extra for that, and I'm just too cheap. I decided to go with the free font. And now, if you're ready, I'm gonna show you the finished product. Our pantry is done.
Or hit when I leave. Should've known by your rap sheet that you weren't nice. But now I am telling you, I'm going to smile. But I would never, ever, ever would have believed them, no reason. Sometimes the truth is hard to see. But now the never, ever, ever seemed to be over. I saw her.
So I tried placing everything that I use on a daily basis closer to the door so that I can reach it as soon as I walk in. Everything on the top shelf I don't really use that often, but absolutely need to, for example, refill things sometimes. So things like rice, sugar, cat food I need on the top shelf. And also I didn't put any of the panel on the top shelf so that I can look up and see what I got there. When it comes to water on the floor, that's just what we do, and that's what we're going to do, is to put it on the floor and forget about it. It's too heavy for me to stack it anywhere and it's too much time, so I'm just gonna leave it as is. So I ran out of labels at some point. I was about 4 labels short. That's why some things are unlabeled, that like those baby towels in the middle, but that's not a big deal. I could still put a label on the container directly with a different color, but I wanted to go with all the same style. I just love those little black labels and the farmhouse look they create. So I'm gonna get some more at some point and label the rest that is unlabeled. I did place a shoebox behind those clear containers so that I can stack the ones behind on the shoebox and I can see everything that I have all at once. My favorite way of organizing is to leave miscellaneous space, like that blue miscellaneous container. I run out of labels, like I said, but I love leaving empty miscellaneous space because it will get filled up. Instead of throwing it on the shelf or whenever we see available space, I'm just gonna create a container for it because we will throw it. Why not create a container for it? I was really pleased to have this little spot left empty for miscellaneous stuff, or whenever we come home from shopping and there is no spot for something new, that's gonna be the spot. I hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope you consider subscribing to my channel if you enjoy these type of videos: organization, cleaning, everything real life and everything on the budget. Here's a couple of after pictures for you. Thank you so much for your time and I hope you enjoy your week.